Recent announcements from Too Simple and Ike Robotics make it sound as if the autonomous trucking revolution is around the corner, and that we should get ready for driverless trucks hauling commercial freight nationwide within a couple of years. That's mostly hype, intended to attract investors. In part 1 of our series on autonomous trucking, we reviewed the autonomous landscape. Part 2 explored the road ahead. In this, our final segment, we look at the social cost of driverless technology and how drivers can make their voices heard. Autonomous trucks are being sold as a safer, cheaper alternative to trucks with human drivers. But what's hardly ever discussed are the costs, not only to drivers, but to the rural communities where most of them reside, and the families that depend on truck stop, diner, and distribution center jobs that will be eliminated by longer hauls. Not to mention the additional wear and tear on highways, bridges, already badly in need of repair, and the railroad jobs lost to a less efficient mode of transportation thanks to a new technology developed largely at taxpayer expense. Steve Viscelli, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, is one of the few researchers to have called attention to these costs in his landmark report, Driverless, available at driverlessreport.org.
We have got to broaden this debate. I think the first thing we need to do is we need to get out of this mindset that there is some inherent path to this technology that is going to produce, X or Y outcome, and then we need to fix the problems. That is simply a recipe for letting, the carriers and the technology developers to, pick their most profitable path and run with it, and then, putting all the costs onto drivers, the communities that'll lose jobs, our infrastructure, the environment, all these other, stakeholders in this, who are going to be affected.
There's still time for truckers to make their voices heard.
The majority of the truck drivers live away from cities. We don't want to drive local every day, short haul. So I think that that's just a pipe dream, that they think, oh, all of us over the road truck drivers want to be home every night and we want to run the same route. Wrong.
There are lots of regulatory hurdles that will have to be cleared before autonomous trucking can get beyond the testing phase.
Now, what's going to happen when we get to the final, end run in Congress? We're going to have a very well-researched, case for the safety benefits and the cost savings to consumers of what self-driving trucks will do. There are going to be tons of experts and reports lined up to enter into the record in Congress when these votes come up. And then we're going to have a whole bunch of he said, she said, debatable questions about the impact on local communities or the impact on truck drivers or the impact on greenhouse gas emissions.
Viscelli says now is the time for trucker advocates to make their voices heard, not just anecdotally, but by presenting real, compelling evidence of the social harms caused by autonomous trucks. He acknowledges that such an effort is beyond the means of individual truckers, but recommends that maybe a trade group such as Zoida might step up and champion the cause.
And that's how you win, right, in our policy debate. And if drivers have any doubt, and most of your viewers probably aren't old enough, but some of them will remember, the debates around deregulation. Deregulation was won because it asked one simple question: what are the costs of regulation? They never asked, what are the benefits? What are the benefits to American manufacturers of having American manufacturing workers of having shorter supply chains? What are the benefits of mom and pop shops, from having equal rates, charged to them as Walmart? Right? Nobody asked those questions. And what are the impacts on driver wages and hours and everything else that we've seen deteriorate since deregulation? They didn't ask those questions. They only asked, what's the savings to American consumers, right, from these costs of regulation? And that's what we're going to see in autonomous trucks. If drivers and others who are concerned, and there are many of us who should be, if drivers don't start making their voice heard, we're going to see it in 2-3 years, whenever they're ready to put that legislation out there to kind of, create the federal rules that will guide this. That's the outcome you'll see.
This is a huge issue, and we're not going to stop covering it. But that's all I've got for now. Keep up the good fight, stay safe, and we'll see you down the road.